11 years ago, the Edmonton Oilers won the draft lottery and selected the most gifted hockey player of the modern era.
The Edmonton Oilers would like to select with their first pick from the Erie Otters, Connor McDavid.
A player who would go on to win 6 Hart Trophies, 3 Hart Trophies at Conn Smythe. A player who statistically is already keeping company with the greatest names in the history of the sport. And as of right now, he's never hoisted a Stanley Cup. 2 finals, 3 conference finals, multiple coaching changes, multiple resets, same result. And this summer, Connor McDavid did something that should terrify every Oilers fan. He signed a 2-year contract. Not a lifetime commitment, not a farewell, a warning shot. Because this wasn't just a discount. This wasn't just loyalty. This was Connor McDavid handing Edmonton one final chance to prove they deserve him. The NHL has a Connor McDavid problem, and the scariest part, nobody seems to know how to fix it. Let's make sure we're on the same page about what we're actually talking about here. Connor McDavid is 28 years old and in the absolute prime of his career. He's led the NHL in scoring more times than any active player. In a league full of elite athletes, he is measurably, statistically, visually the best player on the planet. 6 Art Ross trophies, 3 Hart Trophies awarded to the league's most valuable player, a Conn Smythe in 2024 when he delivered one of the greatest individual playoff performances of the modern era and dragged Edmonton to the brink of a championship. Statistically, only 2 players in NHL history have ever averaged more points per game, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. That is the company Connor McDavid keeps. Now here's the problem. Gretzky won 4 Stanley Cups, Lemieux won 2. McDavid has won 0, and for the first time in his career, the question isn't whether Connor McDavid is good enough, it's whether Edmonton ever was. To understand why this is a crisis, you have to understand how many times Edmonton has been this close and come up short. McDavid's first 7 seasons with the Oilers were mostly playoff misses, early exits, roster failures, bad contracts, and wasted years. The team around him was a mess. Poor drafting, bad depth, defensive breakdowns, and a goaltending situation that became a punchline across the league. For years, the Oilers had the best player in the world and somehow still felt like they were building around him by accident. Then came 2024. McDavid delivered the kind of playoff run that changes how people talk about a player forever. He nearly willed Edmonton to a championship. The Oilers made the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2006. They fell behind Florida, fought all the way back, pushed the series to Game 7, and lost. The hockey world told them they'd be back, and they were. In 2025, Edmonton returned to the final. Same opponent, same stage, same result. Florida beat them again. Then came 2026, the season where everything was supposed to finally click. The pressure was different. The excuses were gone. The roster had been through the pain. The core had been through the final twice. The window was still open. And Edmonton was eliminated in the first round by the Anaheim Ducks, a team that wasn't supposed to be a threat, let alone a knockout blow. That wasn't just a playoff loss, that was the alarm bell. 3 real shots at a cup, 3 failures. And now the window isn't just closing, it's slamming shut. Here's where this gets complicated and honestly, a little heartbreaking. This past offseason, Connor McDavid did something almost no athlete of his stature ever does willingly. He left money on the table, a lot of it. 2 years, $25 million, $12.5 million per year. The same annual number he'd already been playing on since 2017, even though the salary cap had grown significantly around him and the market for elite players had exploded. Connor McDavid could have demanded the biggest contract in hockey. He could have reset the entire salary structure of the sport. He could have forced Edmonton to pay whatever number he wanted, because when you're Connor McDavid, there is no real negotiation.
2 years makes a lot of sense. Gives us a chance to continue chasing down what we've been chasing down here with the core guys that have been here. And
you are the leverage. Instead, he took less. Think about what that means. McDavid essentially handed the Edmonton Oilers millions of dollars in cap flexibility and said, "Here, use this. Build a team worth winning with." That's not just a hometown discount, that is a message. Win or I walk. Because this deal is only 2 years, not 8, not 7, not the lifetime contract Oilers fans wanted. 2. At the end of it, Connor McDavid becomes an unrestricted free agent. and every team in the NHL knows it. New York knows it, Toronto knows it, Los Angeles knows it, Vegas knows it. Every front office in hockey has already imagined the pitch. Every general manager has already run the cap math. Every fan base has already asked the forbidden question: what if he leaves? That is what makes this so dangerous for Edmonton. For the first time, they are not just trying to win with Connor McDavid, they are trying to keep him. So what exactly is the NHL's Connor McDavid problem? It's not that McDavid is failing. He's not. He never has been. The problem is what happens when the greatest player alive does everything right and still can't get the ending the sport needs him to have. Because every league sells stars. The NBA had Michael Jordan, then Kobe, then LeBron, then Steph. The NFL had Brady, now it has Mahomes. Baseball has had Jeter, Bonds, Judge, Ohtani, players who became entry points for casual fans. Hockey has Connor McDavid. He is the highlight. He is the poster. He is the proof of concept. When the NHL tries to show someone why hockey's different, faster, more skilled, more impossible than every other sport, it shows them Connor McDavid. And right now, the story attached to that player is this: the greatest player alive has never won the thing that matters most. That is a league problem. Because the Stanley Cup is not just another trophy. In hockey, the cup is the entire argument. It is the thing that separates greatness from immortality. It's the thing fans use to win debates. It is the thing players chase their entire lives. And if Connor McDavid never wins one, the sport will spend the next 30 years having the same uncomfortable conversation. Was he the best player of his era? Yes. Did he change the game? Yes. Did he win everything individually? Yes. But did he win the cup? No. And that question will follow him forever. This is not just about Edmonton, it's about hockey. Because the Oilers are not some hopeless rebuild anymore. They have been to 2 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals. They have Leon Draisaitl, the second best player in the world on a lot of nights. They have spent aggressively. They've reshuffled repeatedly. They've changed coaches, changed depth, changed systems, changed the supporting cast. And they still haven't solved the final problem. So the uncomfortable question is this: is this an Edmonton failure, or is there something about the modern NHL itself? The salary cap, the parity, the randomness of short playoff series, the impossibility of keeping elite depth around superstars that makes it genuinely possible for the best player alive to never win. Consider this: since the salary cap was introduced in 2005, only 3 players have won the cup more than once with the same franchise. The cap era doesn't just level the playing field, it punishes sustained excellence. The better you build, the harder it becomes to keep what you built. And nobody has felt that more than Edmonton. Because if the best player in the world can do everything right and still never lift the cup, maybe the problem isn't Connor McDavid. Maybe the problem is the league around him. Here's where I land on this. Connor McDavid has done everything right. Every single thing you could ask from a franchise player. He showed up. He produced. He carried bad teams. He elevated average ones. He delivered in the playoffs. He took less money. He gave Edmonton flexibility. He gave the organization time. He gave the fan base loyalty. Now Edmonton has to give something back. A team that can finish. Because this is no longer about potential. It's no longer about next year. It's no longer about learning how hard it is to win. There are no more lessons left to learn. They've felt it. They've lost the final once. Then they lost it again. Then they fell flat when the pressure should have made them dangerous. And now the clock has changed. 2 years. That's all Connor McDavid has given them. 2 years to prove that the most gifted player in hockey chose the right organization. 2 years to prove this era was not wasted. 2 years to prove Edmonton is not just the team that had Connor McDavid, but the team that was worthy of it. If they win, McDavid becomes one of the greatest loyalty stories hockey has ever told. The generational player who stayed, took the discount, endured the failures, and delivered anyway. But if they don't, he walks. And when he does, every team that signs him inherits more than a superstar. They inherit a mission, because Connor McDavid is not leaving Edmonton to go somewhere else and lose again. The NHL has a Connor McDavid problem, and right now, that problem has a 2-year expiration date. So what do you think? Does Connor McDavid win his Stanley Cup in Edmonton, or is he gone after 2028? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more hockey stories like this, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.